Hey guys, Morgan here with a Magic Origins Swiss draft. I got kind of sick of them for a while, so I might be doing a time spiral draft later this week. But for right now, we're gonna give it a shot. I was going to do a PPTQ, but then I realized that I wouldn't actually be able to play in the finals, so winning would be kind of a waste. Anyway, um, pretty solid pack here. We've got Arosa's Champion, which is a great card for the red-white deck. Stalwart Haven, which is just a good white card. Turn to Frog is a good blue trick. Aspiring Aeronaut is a solid blue creature. And Celestial Flare is pretty solid as a white removal spell. However, Evolutionary Leap is pretty awesome. I mean, it's not always worth first picking. Like, I'd probably pick a Sentinel of the Eternal Watch over an Evolutionary Leap, based on my experience with it. But it does a really good job of allowing you to get the most out of your creatures. So I'm going to take it. Here, there is a Rock Maulers, a Fiery Conclusion, and a Lightning Javelin, along with, like, a Vast Wood Gorger, I suppose. Um, I think I take the Fiery Conclusion. It's a piece of removal. I mean, obviously we're passing another piece of removal too, but it's a piece of removal, and if this deck just has a bunch of threaten effects in it, that'd be sweet. Um, that would work out really nice. I'm gonna take the Acolyte over the Sigiled Starfish, the Mage Ring Bully. Acolyte of the Inferno is a pretty sweet card. It is quite good. Interesting. So there's a fourth pick Suppression Bonds and a Necron Sergeant in this pack. I could see taking the Suppression Bonds over the Crowan Sergeant. It is another removal spell. There's also a Separatist Void Mage, although I'm less interested in that. Uh, hmm. I think I just want the Crowan Sergeant. I am not necessarily like devoted to green, but we have been getting some pretty good red cards, and I'd like to stay red rather than diverging. In addition, with either Fiery Conclusion or Evolutionary Leap, this deck has some pretty good game against Suppression Bonds. Suppression Bonds can kill Evolutionary Leap, but stifling our draw engine rather than one of our creatures is fine anyway. So, yeah, that's the reason we're taking the Acrowan Sergeant, because we're better off taking creatures in this deck. Also, there's First Strike is basically putting damage on the stack with Evolutionary Leap, which is pretty good. Consul's Lieutenant. Jeez Louise. If I had taken the Suppression Bonds, I'd probably be taking the Consul's Lieutenant. As it is, I'd prefer the Rock Maulers. Rock Maulers is a fatty, and that's wonderful. We love you for it, Rock Maulers. One thing I realized when I was at Oklahoma City, uh, Rock Maulers looks a lot like the rhinos from the Robin Hood movie. Fun fact. I think I just take another Crowan Sergeant. These guys are sweet. Wasn't hugely interested in taking like a Knight of the Pilgrim's Road or a Nantuko Husk over the Crown Sergeant. Well, now, we could have just infinite Rock Maulers. There's also Chandra's Fury and a Prickle Boar, although between these two 5 drafts, I think Rock Maulers is superior. Chandra's Fury is pretty funny with a Crowan Sergeant. There's lots of tricks you can do with first strike. I think I just take the rock smallers though. Okay, taking a Llanowar empath here. I'm not super excited about it, but it's a nice, well, it's a creature. That's about it. Like, that's its job. It's a creature. Just gonna put this turn frog over in my sideboard in the hate drafting column. I will happily take a Vastoid Gorger. Like, picking up big creatures for my top end to follow up my really good little creatures is pretty great. I wonder if I'll wheel that Majoring Bully. Probably not, but that would be sweet. Definitely just taking the smash. Um, guess I take negate. Like, we've got legit sideboard, and then cards we don't want our opponents to cast. And take this infinite obliteration, so nobody names rock smallers. I count that as a hate draft. I will take this 2-2 or 2-1 for 2. This piker. All right. Kytheon, Draga Invocation, Blessed Spirits, Rogue's Passage. I don't think Kytheon is good enough that I want to take it over like one of these three great things. I'm probably just going to take the Draga Invocation over the Rogue's Passage. I think it wins games a little bit faster, which I value. Majoring Bully is pretty good though, and I'd like to have at least one. Here, there's a Thopter Spy Network, an Active Treason, a Yevas Force Mage. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it right here, and pretend like I'm not considering playing red, or blue. There's... These cards aren't, like, well, this card is good. Not great in whatever jank that I'm building here, but, like, I'm not gonna justify what I did to you guys. Just kidding. Thopter Spy Network was by far the best card in that pack. I'm probably not going to splash it, but there is a chance that I get past a couple more good, really good blue cards, and I'd consider playing them in that case. I don't consider Fairy Miscreant to be a reason to play Thopter Spy Network. So, I think here, between like Evolving Wilds, Titanic Growth, Pilgrimage, Elemental Bond, and Chandra's Fury, Chandra's Fury is probably the best card, but I think we want a Titanic Growth more just because we have a lot of littler, more fragile guys that we'd like to attack with. I'm going to take the Subterranean Scout over the Elvish Visionary because Subterranean Scout allows a Crone Sergeants to attack and get run out. The Elvish Visionary is certainly the kind of card you want with Evolutionary Leap. So here's kind of an interesting choice. There's an Alchemist Vial, Goblin Glory Chaser, Infectious Bloodlust. I think I just want the Alchemist Vial. Like, none of these red cards are really spectacular. An Alchemist Vial can be at least slightly useful. In addition, if I end up in the Thopter Spy Network deck, which would probably take a lot to get me in there, but then the artifact really encourages that. So cards that we want. Somberwald Alpha. Timberpack Wolf also works. Wow. Timberpack Wolf, I will take as many Timberpack Wolves as I can get. Enthralling Victor would be fine. Wouldn't mind wheeling that stupid traitorous. Active treason. Active treason. Here we have two options for 4 drops, and I'm gonna take the bigger one. It's about what that comes down to. Here, I'm going to take the Bonded Construct over the Caustic Caterpillar. The 2 power is pretty significant. I think there's a pretty strong white deck floating around, so being able to block right away is pretty nice. I'm gonna take the Veteran Sidearm. There's no way I play Cobble Brute or Vine Snare. Veteran Sidearm, like Alchemist File, has some utility in that it's an artifact, and in addition to that, when size matters, such as with a Crow and Sergeant, it can make my creatures bigger. It can make Llanowar Empath a more impressive body, and, well, Rock Smallers tramples over for 1 more. I'm hate drafting the Sideblade Assassin. Get that card out of there. Sideblade Assassin kills Acolyte of the Inferno. Yeah, that's a good reason to draft it. Yeah, I'm really hoping for more 2-drops, although having the Bonded Construct and, to a degree, the Bellows Lizard is a little reassuring. Definitely want just more creatures in general, preferably like Somberwald Alpha. This is an interesting choice, because I'm not taking this Rock Smallers. I might be taking this Lightning Javelin, but I could also easily see myself taking like Honored Hierarch, or even Dwayne's Elite. There's also an Elvish Visionary in there, for those of you who are interested. Like, I don't imagine this Honored Hierarch is wheeling, but I think I'd prefer taking the Lightning Javelin. Yeah. Lightning Javelin being removal is a pretty strong motivator, gonna be honest. Okay, so Guiltleaf Winnower is a good magic card, but there's a Sky Snare Spider in here. I could see considering taking the Dragon Fodder, but I think I'd just rather have my big ol' spider. Wow, Timberpack Wolf is just better than Herald of the Pantheon in this deck, actually. I think I'm gonna take it. Yeah, they're both 2-drops, but Timberpack Wolf just happens to have the relevant name. We're passing another Reeve Soul, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna take the Llanowar Empath over the Might of the Masses, I think. We have a Titanic Growth, and we want just more things to do. Speaking of, I think I take the Timberpack Wolf over the Gear per Gearcrafter. I only have 3 2-drops right now. I'd rather not play this stupid Bellows Lizard. And Timberpack Wolf, again, relevant name. This is a kind of interesting one. I think I'd just take Chief of the Foundry, not for any particular like artifact synergies, but because my 4-drop spot is a little glutted right now, and I'd rather have a Llanowar Empath than a Fire Fiend Elemental. This card can easily beat me. I think I want a Hitchclaw Recluse over a Bonded Construct. Hitchclaw Recluse can block Bonded Constructs. I think I take out something. No. Probably this Veteran Sidearm. I'd rather have the Alchemist Vial because it says draw a card on it. Alright, so we wield both the Elvish Visionary and the Dwynen's Elite. Kind of interesting question of which one I want, actually. Dwynen's Elite is just a 2/2 for 2. I think Elvish Visionary actually yields more value. Like, my other 2 drops can do the blocking and Bonded Construct. I'd rather draw a card. I don't think anybody here will blame me either. I think I cut Vastwood Gorger. I don't have Rogue's Passage, so Vastwood Gorger is a little bit less good. And I don't want to cut any of my early game because one of my finishing things I can do is Drag Invocation. Excuse me. Take this, put it in the sideboard. Take this. And I'd consider playing it if I didn't have the Skyraker Giant. Alright, Zendikar Royal is a nice sideboard card for slower matchups. Zendikar Royal, when combined with Nissa's Pilgrimage, is pretty fun. Not great, but fun. It's a little expensive, though. This one. This plane's so pretty. Color. Definitely more green. Not that many more, though. 8-9? Yeah, we've got a lot of early game that we want to play in red. So yeah, this is interesting. 3 Timber Pack Wolves. I wonder how many times I'll get more than one out. We'll see. I'll see you in round 1.